Apartheid, check. Madiba, check. Everyday black South Africans in South Africa during apartheid, hey! Without question, Nelson Mandela is the most well-known and celebrated anti-apartheid freedom fighter. He's also arguably the most famous South African in history ever. But what about the everyday people in South Africa who lived and fought through it? Anti-apartheid activism took on many forms: strikes, nonviolent demonstrations, acts of civil disobedience, political action, and armed resistance. They risked their lives and livelihoods to resist every aspect of apartheid. Just like the Civil Rights Movement, just like the Ferguson protests, just like the Trump protests. I don't even like saying Trump, can you feel it? Can we please have a moment of silence and grief for the outcome of the 2016 presidential election? Still not over it. Hated it. It makes me sick to my stomach. Is it 2020 yet? Those are the questions I ask myself daily. Okay, moment over. Where was I? Apartheid, that's right. To be black in South Africa meant you had to carry an ID everywhere. Caught without an ID would put you on the wrong side of the law, and that had deadly consequences. In Sharpsville, South Africa, a group of unarmed black people arrived at a police station without identification as an act of defiance. The police resorted to violence, killing at least 67 black people and injuring nearly 200. This heinous act of police brutality pushed more people to believe that nonviolent resistance ain't gonna end apartheid. Anti-apartheid organizations began fighting fire with fire. In the illustrious words of N.W.A, the police. The increased conflict surrounding apartheid contributed to the Black consciousness movement in South Africa. This movement sought to empower blacks, like the Black Power movement. Steve Biko, the most visible figure and founder of the Black consciousness movement, proclaimed that black is beautiful. Ain't it though? A phrase that stemmed from the civil rights movement in the 1960s. Black pride was a part of a vision of freedom and justice for black people all over the world. Biko became public enemy number 2. I've lost count at this point, but I would think Mandela was still number 1 with a bullet. I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. I got people trying to drain me of my energy. Literally. Way more serious than Drake's life could ever be. The movement was under heavy attack, and eventually the government got what they wanted. The police tortured Steve Biko to death. His death in police custody captured international attention and led many people throughout the world to formally organize against apartheid. Pause for the cause. Sandra Bland, Michael Lee Marshall, Freddie Gray, say their names. Be on the right side of history, hashtag Black Lives Matter. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. From the United Nations denouncing apartheid to college activists demanding that their universities dissociate from the companies in South Africa, black South Africans put their bodies on the line for freedom, and it changed the course of history. It also seeped into the conscience of the world through entertainment. Entertainers, writers, and visual artists were unapologetic about making art that questioned apartheid. Everyday resistance is often forgotten in how we remember the decades-long struggle. It's easy to reduce this important history to a single significant person, but we must remember all the people who fought and gave their lives for justice and freedom. All people. That's you. In case you wanted to make a change right now, Black Lives Matter.